We're going to wind up this lesson, hopefully in this video, talking about the weighted average costing method and then some other challenges that utilizing the process costing can involve. So the weighted average, unlike the FIFO method, which assumes that the prior costs were in the prior period, beginning inventory costs and their output are all treated under the weighted average period method as though they were incurred in this period. Now, the calculations that you will see will look just like the ones that we did. So the physical flow inventory for equivalent units, whether you're using FIFO or weighted average, is going to look exactly the same. So you notice here that these numbers should look familiar. And this is the point at which these processes start to diverge, because you'll notice now here we have total units that we're accounting for now of 120,000. And so basically what we've done is we've lumped the beginning work in process inventory with the started and completed inventory, and we've ignored the fact that the beginning units were already 70% complete when we started the period. And I'm just going to jump to the next slide, which is, so if you can kind of burn this in your memory for a second, while I hop over and show you what it looked like under FIFO, and you can see the difference at this stage from between these two methods. We've got 105 and 91.5, and here we've got 120 and 102 in conversion costs at the same point using the different methods. So now we're going to look at our unit cost. And the math for this is the same as the math that we did before. We're now just dealing with different units. We've spent the same amount of money to get to this point. The question becomes, or not the question, the answer is that the weighted average and FIFO are going to allocate these costs differently because we're now dealing with different equivalent units. So again, still same total costs. But now we're looking at 22 cents for units completed of our at 90,000. And the split is 17 and 30 rather than I think it was 18, or I should say 17 and 5, and I think it was 18 and 5 for the cost to get us to our 25.5. All right, so here is our production report using the weighted average method, and you can skip back a couple of slides to just compare those if you're feeling real curious, but we've accounted for all of our direct materials and conversion costs in our report that we just did. We see that the direct materials equivalent under this method is 17 cents, conversion costs under this method 5 cents, getting us to total cost per unit of 22 under this method rather than 23. But because now we're dealing with a different number of units, it still gets us to the same point. So there are definitely advantages and disadvantages in terms of these different methods. Certainly it is easier because we're not having to, we can just deal with everything as though the costs were in this period. But is that really the I guess from a purist sense, the correct way to do it? Probably not. Another one of the challenges that comes with using the process costing is what happens when your unit of measurement changes as the unit you're producing changes in terms of physical form. In the example that we were working with earlier, we were converting it. It started out as ounces when we're looking at materials, but by the time it's at the end product, it's capsules. And so you're going to have to then also deal with the conversion as the physical form of your product changes throughout the production cycle. So here's our production cost data for the encapsulating department. And then next, on our physical flow schedule, we've made a conversion here to convert the transferred in units from ounces to capsules. So basically we've got materials transferred in, materials added, our 420,000, then we do the cost allocation over our 420,000 units, and this gets us to a unit cost of 8 cents per capsule. And a valuation of the 375,000 equals 30,000, and